Welcome to the Live the Call podcast, where I speak with guests living and working their soul's purpose. I'm Pamela Downs, founder of Spirit Calling and trans-channeler of the Great Council of Light. Every episode, our guests share their awakening story, and together we learn how they came to live their spirit's call. Join me in tales of self-discovery, enlightenment, and transformation to amplify your healing journey. Welcome to Live the Call. I'm so excited to welcome my friend Nicole Frolic to the show. Yes, she's a practical mystic, an intuitive coach, and an expert in soul transformation. She's also the host of Enlighten Up and the founder of The Forbidden Journey. Nicole helps others heal their inner child, uncover their secret self, and reclaim their authentic power through ceremonial practices, meditative experiences, and quantum healing. So Nicole, I'm so happy to have you here today.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, Pam. It's so good to
You're
see you
welcome.
again. I just feel blessed that we get to do this work and we get to
I
have these
know.
conversations. Okay, so we've got the Virgo Lunar Eclipse coming up this week, Thursday, Friday. And this is big. This is a big eclipse because uh, it's about healing, right? Virgo is about our health. It's about the systems that we use, the routines, our habits, everything like that. And then Pisces, where the North Node and the Sun are going to be during the eclipse, the Pisces is very much the most transcendent sign. It's the most spiritual. It's definitely about inner child healing, more so from the hidden traumas that are buried beneath the surface, the things you're really scared to look at. And of course, Pisces loves to explore beyond all boundaries. It doesn't want limitations. It wants to go where it's never gone before. And so, what with this particular, the timing is so interesting. I have to share this with you because I literally did not realize this until last night. Like when I was falling asleep, I'm like, whoa, I didn't even realize, because this happens to me all the time and I never plan it, but until like something's getting closer to the actual transit date, I'm like, oh my gosh. So, okay, what I believe, because I know you were talking about how a lot of people are starting to have these inner child kind
Yeah.
of memories or awakenings or healings that are coming up before this eclipse. So the South Node in Virgo wants us to, it's very karmic. It wants us to look into our past. It wants to look at the things that are no longer working for us, not serving, the things we are ready to let go of. It can even be processes that did work for us in the past and now they're expired, they're past their best by use date, and it's time to like let them go because there's new things that you got to start embracing. And the North Node being in Pisces is letting us know this is where we have to go outside our comfort zone. This is where the cosmos are saying, and fate is stepping in and saying, we are pushing you outside of your comfort zone into things that are very much going into the deeper traumas of your childhood, connecting to your spirituality in ways that you maybe never have. The Pisces represents, it represents hospitals, it represents mental health, it represents psychedelics, it represents retreats, beaches like that are almost like isolated. So anything of that nature can be coming up for us to explore. And so it at the end of the day, it's also the things that are hidden from us. So we're having to really lift the veil, look at our own illusions and what systems in Virgo are based on illusions that no longer are now like we see the truth, right? We see the truth maybe in our own healing journey. So what's coming up is a lot of us are seeing, oh, wow, I need to heal this. I can't avoid this anymore. And I can't pretend it's not there. Like I have to deal with this. And sometimes we realize, wow, I don't even know if I'm equipped. The systems or the methods I've been using are maybe not the right ones. Maybe I need ones that are more spiritual or maybe way beyond my own comfort zone of things that I'm used to. And so it's funny because, like, literally, a couple of weeks ago, I got a very strong message from Spirit, and they're like, you need to share with people your healing, your specific healing method that I like designed. No one told me how to do this. And teach people how to exit their healing journey so they can start transforming their lives and move on. And I'm like, really? And they're like, just show them how to do it because too many people are stuck in this healing loop where they're doing the work, they're journaling, they're meditating, they're doing their inner child work, but their life isn't really matching the inner changes that are happening in them. So the inner world's changing, but the outer world still is kind of remaining the same or not as much change as you would think would be there, right? And that can get very um it can get very demoralizing, right? I think, have you been there? Like, I've been there where I'm just
Oh,
like, oh my
absolutely.
God, like how much
Yeah.
more work do I need to do before this
Right.
finally changes, right?
Right.
And so over the years, I've really understood like how to pinpoint the exact thing that's going to collapse time around your healing journey so your transformation starts happening right now, not like months and years down the road, but like right now.
Right now.
And so I started like putting this all together. I'm literally like doing it next week. I'm doing a whole live, and it'll always be available, so it doesn't matter when this comes out. If anyone's interested, they want to get it, it'll be on my website. But I'm teaching people how to get their own healing exit strategy, because so many of us are like, think about, okay, healing for first of all is probably, our health is the most important investment of our lives. When you don't have this body, you don't have a life here anymore, right? Like your spirit, you're gone, so healing is the most important investment, and how we change our inner world absolutely changes our outer world. So a lot of people who are financial investors, right? Whether they're wanting to buy businesses or buy stocks or whatever it is, they will always have an exit plan, right? An exit strategy. I had designed a lot of different business plans where I was looking for investors, and investors always wanted to know, what's the exit strategy? How am I exiting this? Because otherwise, how do you get your returns on your investment, right? The same is for the healing journey. I feel like there are a lot of great healers and therapists out there who are helping people do the work, but not really showing them how to exit. Where is your off ramp? Because if you don't have an off ramp, you're just always processing, but never actually living the results. And so, yeah, so now with this full moon in Virgo, lunar eclipse of all things, which is literally about changing out, letting go of your old methods, your old strategies, your old routines around healing that are just not cutting it, that are not like, helping you transcend to the next
Hmm.
level. Yeah, that's what I'm getting ready to release right around this Virgo eclipse. But this is something that I think is coming up for a lot of people. And
It
so
is. Mhm.
it's a major cosmic shift. And I will tell you why I think this is going to be a very important eclipse. Because in just a few weeks after, at the end of March, we have our last solar eclipse in Aries. And the day after that solar eclipse, Neptune moves into Aries. So it's just going to be like less than a day, okay? Hours. This is a big change because there's a lot of planets within a 6-degree orb of one another on that solar eclipse. And Neptune, this is big change because when we think about the United States, the last time Neptune moved into Aries was the beginning of the Civil War.
Hmm.
Okay. And what I want to say to everyone out there is the one thing you need to be prepared for is that we're going to see spiritual warfare like we've never seen it before in our lifetime. Um, Aries, ruled by Mars, is all about war, conflict, aggression. It is also about leadership, inspiration, motivation, physical energy. It rules all of that. But when you bring in Neptune, which is very foggy, it can cause illusions, it's very spiritual. Neptune in Pisces was the era of love and light. Love and light is dying at the end of March. Be prepared if you are not ready for love and light to die. And I will give you a little caveat so no one starts freaking out here. But love and light, Neptune and Pisces was the passive spirituality. This is where you got to explore and really like go inward and like talk about everything that you were like learning and all of that, and just keep learning and expanding and going and going and going. Neptune and Aries is now like, Aries is about your identity. It's like you need to merge your spiritual awareness to become the spiritual warrior here on earth. That doesn't mean you have to go into actual warfare, but it means you got to stand up for what you believe in. You got to know what you believe in. You got to know what your spiritual beliefs are, and you are going to be tested. You have to know discernment like you've never known discernment before.
Mhm.
We are going to see the rise of spiritual leaders and gurus who are much more interested in their charismatic charismatic appeal, okay, than actually being the leaders of what they need to be leading. So expect
Mhm.
to see religious cults and spiritual gurus that are kind of coming to the surface that may on the surface appear great and bring in big followings, but then there's going to be some illusions that are burnt away in the fire, and people are going to realize this is not who I thought it was. So be
My
very
gosh.
aware that that's going to happen. However, at the same time, you're going to have amazing spiritual and religious leaders rising to the top, helping people connect more to their faith, whether it's God, whether it's the universe, whatever it is for you. We're going to see, because war is likely inevitable in some level. Okay. And I think we're going to see a lot of it kind of come up, and we're going to see it come up in ways where like unavoidable, like there's no other
Yeah.
way kind of thing. Right. But we are all more evolved human beings than we were back in the mid 1800s. Okay. We have a much higher level of consciousness on the earth, so we can navigate this in a different way. It's really important at this time to have something to anchor into that is faith based. If you don't have a belief in something bigger than you, it's going to be very hard to navigate what's ahead of us. I don't say
Mhm.
that to scare anyone.
No,
It's just cycles. That's it.
no.
It's
Yeah.
cycles. We were here, what, 200, almost 200 years ago? Okay, 180, 200 years ago, whatever it was. Um, Oh, we were fine. Things rose from that. Really good things came from that, right? Uh, but in order for us to move through it, we kind of have to go through the fire. And so this is
Mhm.
literally like Aries is the fire, Neptune is the fog and all that. So we're going to literally burn away all the illusions after this 14-year period. But it's going to come where, one, you have to believe in your own spiritual awareness, who you are, your identity. This is no longer about just love and light, passive
Yeah.
spirituality. This is about walking the walk. You cannot just
Mhm.
talk the talk, you have to walk the walk. And you may be called in ways that you don't even realize to step in as a spiritual warrior. Again, that doesn't mean that you're fighting other people. It
No.
means that you're like holding that higher vibration, that light in a way. Like I was just talking with you early about, like, you can hold the space for people to really open up, to connect in ways that they've never connected to themselves, maybe connecting to something bigger. That could
Mhm.
be your way of being the spiritual warrior.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. You just described everything that the guides have shared for
Oh,
In the
really?
March message.
Oh,
So much
interesting.
so that it was, January that people in the community learned what they wanted to create in their life and what they have created in their life. Now, what do they actually want to do? And February was, okay, when the things come to you, now you have to have the conviction inside of you to accept it, to understand that what is before you. March was, now is the time you get the opportunity to stand in your beliefs, understanding all of what you've learned about the universe, about energy, about spirit, all of it, to be the lighthouses for when the energy shifts. People are going to come to you no longer saying you have these restricted, strange ideas. You are going to be the lighthouse supporting others, like everything that you just said. And it's really interesting. I woke up in the middle of the night in February and heard March 16th into the 17th, March 16th into the 17th. I don't know what that is, but it's right after the eclipse. It's like right in that little sweet spot of all of these shifts that are coming. And many people are saying the same thing that you just said and that the guides are saying. And it's not to scare anyone, but it is definitely, it's going to be, I even feel it myself. We're moving more strongly in our convictions, accepting what it is that we want for our future, to move into this work that we've said that we wanted, that we're doing, but we're actually like stepping into it 100%. And it's exciting. It's
Mhm.
exciting, isn't it? I think it's exciting.
Oh, I
Honestly,
think
for
it's really
everyone.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, this is where you get to see what you're made out of. And this is what life
Yeah.
does to you. This is what life, when you go through all these like upgrades and leveling up and transformations in your life and getting, when your gifts are activated, they're not just activated for fun. They're activated because you're going to need to use them, right?
Yeah.
In
Right.
very, very responsible ways, I want to say. And
Hmm.
so this is where literally we're going to see. you have to hit the ground running. Like Neptune and Aries is only a
Yeah.
couple weeks away. So now it will retrograde back into Pisces for a very short, brief period, but th this is this is big. I speak, it's when you're at the
Yeah.
0 degrees, and plus then we also have Saturn moving into Aries with it is also like a major Saturn in Aries. Like, ooh, it's gonna be, look, and here's one thing I will say that's positive, okay? Because I don't want to like come rain down with all this. I don't want people to get into a fear mode. We're going to face it. We're going to move through it. We're going to literally walk through the fire. But, we've all been prepared for that. That's what we've
Right.
been preparing for. So, it's nothing going to be that any of us can't handle. But the Neptune, what I do like about Neptune and Saturn coming together is Saturn's very grounded. Okay. Saturn's like, Neptune just wants to be like no rules and all over the place and like, let me just go and do what I want to do and go into the places I've never been before. And it's very like, can be very airy fairy kind of etheric energy. Well, Saturn's
Hmm.
very like structure, grounded. So the two together at least are going to complement, they're going to bring in at least that grounded structure to the spiritual awakenings that are definitely going to happen. We're going to see a lot of identity crises
Hmm.
happening because when you bring in Neptune, think about a spiritual awakening. You're like, who am I anymore? It's like the existential crisis of who am I and why am I here? It's going to be like on
What is
on
happening to me?
steroids. Yeah, it's going to be on steroids right now. So,
Yeah.
but people are going to have to get really serious, Saturn energy, very responsible about these choices. Like, who am I? What am I really here to do? And I got to start like
Hmm.
grounding that energy. And I can't just have it all out here. I got to like walk the walk. It's got to
Hmm.
really funnel it through your 3D body now, which is
Hmm.
ultimately the spiritual test of us all, is can you bring in the levels of your high 5D energy and actually walk the walk down here? Because
Hmm.
look, there's a lot of spiritual beings that we can connect to and talk to. They're not down here doing the work, right?
Hmm.
They're maybe doing the work, helping, guiding us, but we're the ones who have to walk through the literal
Yeah.
fire down here.
Hmm.
So when you start embodying, and it's like that descending process, not ascending, but descending,
Hmm.
having your higher self descend into your physical body and actually like do the work from using the skin suit, that's the ultimate spiritual test as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. I agree. And even some, like for instance, someone I'm working with right now in coaching, so quickly as he's shifting, so quickly as he's shifting. And the message to him was, all the things that you've said that you wanted, they're here now. And it is your time. And he's having past life stuff come up. He's having this life stuff come up. He's like working through stuff so quickly because it is time. It is time. Even the quickening is moving them into this because of the timing. And I got invited to this podcast that's like a huge podcast, and I got dates put in front of me. And I had to feel into each one of them. The guides told me the one I'm supposed to do is coming next week, March 21st. I'm flying out to Las Vegas to do it. And I'm like, isn't this timing so interesting? I didn't know any of that when I was working with them to decide on this. And it's because of everything that's happening. It's because of the shift that's happening. And it's not a spiritual podcast. So it's going to be reaching a lot of people who are not typically looking at this kind of content. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean?
Yeah,
Which I
yeah.
think is just like everything that we're saying, and the rising up of the light workers, the rising up of the people that are tapping into something new, and we'll be experiencing all these transformations. That's why you and I like having this conversation right now. It's so important. It's so important, and the work that you're doing. So tell people about some of the programs that you're doing right now that are serving your clients and your community.
So what I'm all about getting you your transformation as fast as you can. I'm like,
I love that you said the
I'm
exit
a,
plan, but then you said the exit like off the
oh
highway.
yeah. So it's called the healing exit strategy.
Okay.
So if it's something that anyone's interested in, it's on my website. I can give you the links too, Pam.
Yeah.
But the healing exit strategy is basically I'm going to teach you how I collapse time around people's healing journey so they literally get transformation in not just weeks, not just days, but sometimes hours, okay? Life-changing transformation. And I'm going to be showing you how to find what I call your velocity point. And the velocity point, the reason why a lot of people's healing journeys are ongoing and ongoing and ongoing is because something is in alignment. When you in order to collapse time, you have to align the body, the mind, and the soul together. And it's that intersecting point where the mind,
Mm.
the body, and the soul connect. That's what I call your velocity point. And when you understand what that is, that'll be something that I show you. That's what you have to be focusing on in your healing journey to start collapsing time. And I'll be showing this in real time, and I'll be showing exactly how we look for what the body needs, what the path of the body is, what's the path of the soul. And then once the mind sees the body and the soul aligning, it's like this aha moment that the ego can't deny. And it's like, I
Mhm.
see it and I can't unsee it. And so
I'm a
now I
part
have
of
to do
this.
it, right?
Right.
And that's what's missing. A lot of times you have to like, if you're thinking you have to do affirmations and all that stuff, and I
Yeah.
don't want to discount it. It does work, but it takes time and it takes practice, and there's faster ways to do it, you know? And so um the thing is that there's I teach you what the messages are of your body, because I have found that the body is your greatest messenger system.
Mhm.
The body knows exactly what you need to do. And when you know how to decode the body's messages, and that's what I'm going to teach you how to do. And then we're going to teach you how to decode your soul lessons for this lifetime. You're going to see where the body and the soul meet. And then your mind's going to be like, game over. Why didn't I start that before?
Your mind's like, wait for me,
Yeah. And so, and this is what I do with all my clients when I'm working. This is why at my retreats, I mean, my last retreat, we had three Kundalini awakenings.
Oh my
Uh
gosh.
like big
Wow.
healings. They literally like people walking out the door, their life has never been the same. Um and I'm getting, I would say on average when I'm doing the deep when I'm doing like the medicine journeys with people, because I do retreats with plant medicine, mushrooms, and then I do one-to-one healing journeys, like day journeys with people here in Colorado.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm finding that almost half of the journeys they're experiencing Kundalini awakenings, where they
Wow.
just have this massive heart opening where they've never
Yeah.
felt so much love pouring in, and they feel this connection to source creator, that where like everything is one, you know? And
Hmm.
it's like
Hmm.
once you feel that, you are forever changed. Like you
Hmm.
can never put the toothpaste back in the tooth paste bottle, whatever. Um,
Everything is different.
yeah, yeah. And so so I'm getting that where I'm getting like literal physical healing miracles at the retreats, where people have had diminished hearing in one ear for 19 years, couldn't even, you couldn't walk on that side and talk to them because it couldn't hear you.
Wow.
The next morning, hearing fully restored. Saw
Wow.
celestial beings descend upon using all these different utensils on his brain and eardrum. And when he came out of his journey, his hearing was restored.
Wow.
Um, I
That's
had another
incredible.
girl, yeah, I had another girl who had suffered a lot of sexual trauma as a baby, okay, which created a lot of scratching on certain areas of the body, and one was like right back here. Well, you know, this is the ninth chakra.
Right.
This is the golden
Yeah.
chalice, right? This is
Hmm.
one of the most powerful centers, right? And just scraping it raw, she couldn't stop. Her journey, she had a really beautiful breakthrough, and then she went home and she let me know within a month that she's finally, for the first time in her life, it's healing. You know, she's not scratching, and it's like finally starting to heal.
Wow.
And so that was a big thing, because like her whole life she's had that. Eyesight being fully restored, almost like to the point where their optometrist was like gobsmacked, you know, like what
Wow.
did you just do? Like we have to change your whole prescription. You almost don't even need a prescription anymore. So I love it because through doing the retreats, I love because I get to work with people one on one in person, right? But then I do work with people one to one coaching online, because not everyone can come to the retreats or work with me in Colorado. So um, it's a lot of different things. So, but at the end of the day, though, I'm always doing the same thing. I am collapsing time around your healing journey. So, or collapsing time around your transformation, so that your healing journey basically gets an exit strategy, so that you can
Hmm.
actually start reaping the rewards of all your investment into your healing journey. Like, how demoralizing and deflating is it to put in so much effort, so much time to know you're doing the
So much.
work,
Yeah.
right? And you're doing big work and still not see the changes in your life. Like, that's where I'm like, no, man, I'm here to help like people like transform their lives, because then that means they're going to be transforming other people's lives. So,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That's
Exactly.
exactly right. And there's an elevation in your energy to be able to do that because you're helping people get out of that loop because the
Yeah.
practitioners that are working with them are in the loop.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
it's a different experience. Yeah.
When you actually start to see your life changing from the work you're
Mhm.
doing,
But you see
not
progress.
it not
Yeah,
only it's it's bigger, like I don't know, it's almost like you get this new lease on life, like new energy where
you do.
you want to even go harder into like all the things that you're doing.
Hmm.
And that's exciting to me, like because your healing journey should be helping you evolve. It should be getting
Hmm.
you stronger and preparing for your next evolution, right? There's
Right.
always something that we can get better at. And but you don't want to be stuck in the same process.
Mm-mm.
And I think that like what's happened is a lot of like the healing methods that people are doing, it's not that they're not good. It's
Right.
just one, if you're not really focused on the one thing that's going to be that domino that hits them all down in one shot, because that does exist. A lot of people don't
It
think that
does.
exists. It does exist. And you can literally start healing multiple things at once just from knowing how to hit that one thing because it is
Hmm.
a domino effect. And
Hmm.
that, like, it's confirming to you to know like okay, I am
Yes.
powerful,
Right.
I can do this. And it gives you the confidence to go to the next level, which is what we
Hmm.
all need to be doing right now.
Hmm. Absolutely. There's no time for being shy. And I talk about that all the time. It's like you have these profound experiences and they push you to the next thing. There's no denying that it happened. There's no
Yeah.
denying you have this experience that you've never had before. And you're moving now. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And when like when you get stuck, like you said, in that cycle where you're like, I've had this, I'm done with this, I want to move forward. There's a conviction also that has to happen within you
Yeah.
energetically that takes you and makes you want to move to the next thing.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like, getting back onto the March energies from the beginning of the year, there's been these like, I feel like my community, myself, my partners gotten stuck in the muck. It's like you're in a tar pit and then suddenly you evolve out of it and you've elevated, you've gotten new understandings, you have clarity, there's new alignments and new opportunities. It's like magic. And then suddenly you're back in this freaking tar pit again. Did you experience that? And then, or people that have, because you literally feel like you have a web around you and you're dealing with these trapped emotions, these frustration, like annoyance, all of the things. Don't want to do this anymore. And then it's like, ah, and then there's suddenly something happens, and you're like, shit, this is incredible. And then you start to recognize these patterns, and then you catapult out of them somehow. Have you experienced that recently?
I have like I have been feeling so much change happening.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I think this is something also to for people to recognize so they don't get maybe too caught up in like the highs and the lows because
Hmm.
it can kind of
It's
listen when you
exhausting.
yeah, it can get very exhausting when you are in that high state. It will feel really low when you come out of it, not because you're actually in a low place, but just because you were so high before, right?
Right. It's like,
And
mhm.
so what you're in is actually like a normal, what was maybe your normal, and now it feels low, right? And whereas before you had that moment, it was normal,
Yeah.
but
Right.
now like it's your low. And
Right.
so that's just letting you know that you're actually going up, right?
Hmm.
But you've got to make that adjustment and understand that it's a very natural experience to have of a high and a low. Um, because you're recalibrating and
Hmm.
you're kind of recalibrating
To your
where
new
your
norm.
highs and lows are, and it's
Hmm.
just new for you. So you got to give yourself a little grace and your
Hmm.
body a little grace to kind of go through that. But
Hmm.
yeah, January has been like off to the races. It has been
Hmm.
off to the races. And I had just last month, a month ago, a total death and rebirth of myself
Hmm.
in front of a fire where my boyfriend and I, we had just like, let's just rent this off the grid cabin in the mountains, and um, I've been getting messages about my business. I don't know if you get these same messages,
Hmm.
but I'm starting to realize that for sure, the more I'm in my feminine energy, the better my business does. But the more I'm specifically just focusing on having fun, more
Hmm.
money comes into my business, right? Like, and really cool clients and like all the fun stuff that, and so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take actually a weekdays off to go to this camp. I'm not gonna do this on the weekend. I'm gonna take weekdays
You
off.
did something
Yeah,
wild.
I was like this, and it's so not like this is so not like me. Like I can be such a workaholic. And um, so we go and my boyfriend and I, we'd never really done mushrooms together. And so I was like, oh, you want to we'll just do like a gram, nothing like super crazy. Like I usually do journeys. So I'm usually doing 2.5 to 3 of a potent strand, but that's more because I'm going all spiritual and going inward. But we were just
Hmm.
like, oh, let's just have some fun and sit by the fire. So like we had a big fireplace. We filled it with wood and lit it up. And that thing was keeping the whole cabin warm. Like that was
Wow.
the whole thing keeping us warm. And about I don't know, 3 hours after we were I was sitting on the sofa and I'm looking at the fire and I was just staring into it and the fire started talking to me. And the fire started teaching me how my energy was changing the way it was burning the wood. And I'm like, oh, and then I was reminded that nothing is real until there's an observer, right? The quantum
Right.
physics.
Yeah.
And so the observer, was focusing my energy on a waveform and collapsing it into the burning wood of how it was actually burning. And so I started seeing hieroglyphs burning up, like started merging from the
Wow.
wood in like lit up. They were like lit up and they were just coming up through the wood. And I'm like,
Wow.
oh my
That's
God.
so cool.
Yeah. And I'm just like, and I like ran to the fire and I sat in front of it and I'm like, this is so cool. And like my boyfriend's like, what are you doing? And
What, don't you see
he's
it?
like, he's a little spiritual, but he's like, he's not as into it as me, but I think
Hmm.
he's getting more into it as he's like dating me. But um, and I'm just like, it's amazing. Can't you see it? Don't you see it? And so anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm watching these different symbols emerge from the wood. And all of a sudden, I got really sad. I got really, really sad. And I was like, where's the sadness coming from? And I realized that, I'm always trying to elevate. And that means in all areas of our life, not just spiritually, not in just my
Hmm.
relationships, for sure in my business. And one of the
Hmm.
things that I needed to do was in my businesses was to let go of a part of me that was holding me back and keeping me in kind of small entrepreneur business mindset, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I've been working over the last year or so. I'm really changing that. And it's hard. That's a deep program, and
Hmm.
so all of a sudden I realized, oh my gosh, I'm crying because I don't want to let her go. I don't want to let that part of me go. And the fire was like, give it to us. Like, you're ready to let her go. And I realized, oh my God, if I don't, I'll never elevate. I will stay
Yes.
exactly where I am and I won't start doing the work I know. I'm already doing the work I know, but I know there's more. I know it's supposed to
No,
be
it's
bigger,
big.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have to let that part of me go to reach that part. And so I started crying and I was like, okay. And I'm like, I'm ready. And then all of a sudden I felt this big spiritual energy move through me. And I had to like go deep breathing,
Mm.
like I had to move it. And I wanted to tell my boyfriend like what was going on. And I kept my guides were like, no, do not speak to him.
Focus.
Just keep breathing. So
Hmm.
I'm like, okay. And so I just kept breathing and I kept breathing in the new me and exhaling and giving to the fire the old me to transmute and release.
Wow.
And it was major. Oh my gosh. And by the end of it, the tears were gone and I felt so
Empowering.
big and
Mm.
powerful.
Mm.
And ever since then, I've had, I was telling you, major, major breakthroughs in my business. Major things are changing. And I'm just like, wow. And
Hmm.
so like this is, and that was just from a little amount. Like it wasn't a big thing. Like I wasn't even
Hmm.
expecting it. I didn't even know. But I think too, the more you start to do this work, and the more you really get to understand yourself and you're ready to surrender to the energies that are wanting to work with you,
Hmm.
you can transform like this.
Hmm.
And then you start to see the changes in real time in your life like start to happen. And that's what I want for people is I
Yeah.
want them to start seeing that real world change because if you don't start seeing that real world change, then it starts to get really deflating.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's not a good place to be operating from.
No, especially not now. And they're saying, you're either deciding that you want to move forward with your soul's path and your purpose, or you're saying, I know, I want to be comfortable with that little version of myself, and I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm here right now,
Because
and I'll
like you
move, not now, but later. And people are having to make that choice to like continue to have the talk tracks of what's ailing them and what doesn't work for them and what happened the last 20 years of their life and all the things that are the things that happened to them. Like it makes me feel pain for them when that's how they're identifying who they are. You have to want all the things on the other side of that. There has to be an opening and a desire to follow that path, or you're not going to be able to embrace it, expand, release, open yourself to the opportunities of the next phase of your life. And that's really, there's going to be people in our life, our loved ones, our friends, people we work with, people that, we share our life with on a regular basis that will make that choice either one way or the other. And that's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're all on different paths, and
Mm-hmm.
just because someone looks like they might be behind doesn't mean they won't
They are.
catch up and maybe surpass
Right.
you
Right.
down the road.
Exactly.
So don't count anyone out right
Mm-hmm.
now, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because there are miracles abroad. I
Mm-hmm.
think what's important to just even like, as you were saying about the March energies, with Neptune moving into Aries, this is a big trans. Like this whole year is big. There we have all
Yeah.
planets changing signs, which is very abnormal. And it's important for you guys to note that you do need to become that spiritual warrior. You need to be walking the walk, which is very hard to walk the walk when you don't see the life around you responding the
Yeah.
same way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is why like it's so important for people to get that transformation, because we are going to be faced with some major different trials and tribulations this year. I think it's going to be a lot of highs and a lot of lows. Like it's going to
A
be
lot of
big
unexpected things.
contrast, big
Yeah.
contrast. So, yes, we are likely to see war, okay, in ways we've never seen it before,
Mm-hmm.
but we're also going to see incredible miracles and highs as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, know that it's kind of coming with the territory. And you know, people always like, when is everyone going to awaken? When is everyone going to awaken? Well, this is going to be a big year for awakening. It's just not going
Yes.
to happen in the way most people would have preferred it to happen. And that's
Right.
unfortunately just how the human condition is, right?
Hmm.
You know that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And people, like I put these premonition videos out and I put the 2025 predictions video and energy update video out. It talked all about that. It talked all about the unexpected events that are going to happen that are pre-planned, that come out of nowhere. And but then it also talks about exactly what you just said. You create your reality. You are the manifester and creator of your experience.
Mhm.
So inside of that larger picture is your picture. You're a part of it, but then you have your own.
Yeah.
And we get to look at it. We get to either reflect upon it or make it our story or create our own. And um, it's not in fear. It's not to scare people. It's just to prepare so that people understand when these unexpected things happen just within your own life, and
Mhm.
these aha moments, or these giant energy shifts, or suddenly you find yourself like supporting a group of people you never knew you would ever do that before. You can look at yourself doing that, be the witness, and be like, "Oh my God, I stepped into this role that I've
Yeah.
always wanted." Like it's walking the
Yeah.
walk, like you said.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah,
too, like for people to understand, like I know there's likely it's a high probability we're going to see war this year, some new
yeah.
war.
Hmm.
But I'm not focused on it. I'm
No.
like, okay, I can see it. I look at the astrology. I'm like, it's more than
Yeah.
likely.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but I don't get worried about it. Like
Hmm.
I'm like, I just keep focusing on what I know I do
Hmm.
best to serve this world and bring it to a higher level of light, And so and that's what each and every one of us should be doing is we should be focusing on what we do best. So like
Hmm.
where are your gifts serving this world the best? And that's
Yeah.
all I keep focusing on. So we say that not to like get you trapped in fear and to like dread what might be coming, but know that it is so that you're not taken by surprise when it does
Yeah.
happen, and who knows, it could be at to a lesser degree. It may be more, who knows? I can't know
Hmm.
that, but
Hmm.
it's to me, whatever happens, I know that I'm helping to bring in more heart openings, more groundedness, more trust in something bigger, seeing your purpose, more people getting aligned with their purpose and actually executing it and doing it
Yeah.
well, like that's where we're going to
Amazing.
also see a big shift in our world. We're already seeing it. So,
Yeah.
I think it's just really important to really be mindful that it's okay to know something and still focus your energy where you're best serving.
Yeah. Absolutely. This
Mm.
has been so amazing. It's been so filled with high vibration, this whole conversation. It was like, it was amazing. Um, so just tell everyone, Nicole, where they can find you. And I also just want to say to our community that you do this amazing all signs reading. We all freaking love it. We love it. We're talking about it all the time inside of the community, and it's amazing. As I told you when you got on the call, it's like it's speaking to me. It's like it's speaking to me all the time. And I'm like, I always want to text you, like, did you know that? Like, did you know that? Because it's my life to a T. And a lot of people are enjoying that because you have a lot of interaction while you're doing it live, don't you?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love doing the all signs readings, even though I don't offer private readings anymore.
Hmm.
I've kept doing that because my audience loves it and it does
They
help
do.
them. And everyone
Mhm.
feels like they're getting a personal reading anyway on all signs. So,
Yeah, you're covering
yeah,
it all.
so I keep doing those twice a month, for the first half and the second half of the month. And
Yeah.
I love that. But yeah, you can find me on my website's my name, NicoleFrolic.com.
Mhm.
And then that's basically Nicole Frolic on Instagram, YouTube,
Mhm.
TikTok, everywhere. So that's where
Everywhere.
you can find me.
Yeah. That's amazing. So I'll put all that information in the show notes, and we want you to go check out Nicole's work and see what she's doing. Go to her YouTube channel and post some comments about, what you felt about this conversation and how you've been feeling in the energies of March, and make sure that go check out her YouTube and like and subscribe here and there. And Nicole, I just want to thank you so much. I know how busy you are. I know how many things you're doing. And I would love to come to one of your retreats. It just is, it
I'd
always
love to
calls to
have you
me.
there. I
I
was thinking, I was
know.
like, I got to get Pam to one because,
I
girl,
know.
changes your
Yes,
life. I have
absolutely.
people who keep coming back to them because they're like,
Yeah.
whoa.
I can't wait. I
So,
think it sounds amazing.
yeah.
So thank you so much for being here today, and for sharing your story and your work and your guidance and your love. And I just want to tell everybody, just remember that every moment you get the opportunity to listen to your spirit. You get to answer it, you get to honor it, and always you get to live it. So thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time. I hope today's episode sparked insights for you on your healing journey. If you're searching for support and connection, you should join our community at spirit-calling.com. Spirit Calling is a like-minded community of spiritual individuals learning, sharing, and growing together every day. No matter what you're experiencing in your journey, you'll find resources and a community to support you along the way. Until next time, keep listening to your internal guidance and stepping into your spirit's call.